Alright, this video, there's a lot of people that's done this, or several anyway, maybe not a lot. And my goal with this is not to argue or disagree with anybody. I've learned a lot from just figuring things out myself, but I've also learned a lot from listening to other people. A whole lot, actually. So this video would be more for someone who has who I rode a horse for, and they want to know how I've done things, what bits I've used, how I've used them. So that's what this video is about. It's not to argue or disagree with anybody. So, and there's a lot of other people that have some really good videos. I'd encourage anybody and everybody to watch. So I'm just gonna get into it. So the bit that I've been using first on most of the colts that I've been riding and older horses, I've this year I've rode everything, started everything from a 10-year-old to a 3-year-old, and I've rode horses that have been started already, older and younger, and I just started using this bit. This is a pretty neat bit. It's a one, there's no ratio, there's no transfer of leverage, just like a snaffle bit. It's you pull 1 pound, you get 1 pound. And the way I ride, the way I use my reins and my hands, that bit has really helped me out. It's very similar to this, which is just your typical O-ring snaffle. On a snaffle, I believe you should use one hand, one rein at least shorter. Don't pull evenly. There's a guy that I used to work with. He would refer to any broken mouth bit as a set of bits. And I've been able to keep that in mind, and it's kind of helped me out. I think the snaffle's a horseman's bit. So then I have been going straight to, and I'll explain in a minute why I've been doing this. Straight to, if everything's working out pretty good, straight to this bit right here. Now this is a very, very cheap, easily acquired bit. It's very simple, and it is short shank, loose cheek. You can pick up on a cheek if you like, or if I like, and that's why I've done it. I always start out with a leather chin strap so that I have nothing against the chain. But if you start out with a chain, you have no other place to go. And that would be, why would you use a chain? To change that feel. If not to have more bite necessarily. If you've hung on to it enough, or you've had to, hanging on to something's not always bad, but maybe you had to pull too much. That horse has lost the sensitivity under here. Then you would go to a chain, not to pull harder, yank, or bite, to gain some sensitivity back. It has just a little tongue relief in it, so that would mean a place that the tongue goes up into, so that it sets this part here, sets on the bars of the mouth. So a bit like this one right here, I already showed you, that would set across the bars and the tongue, but the horse is able to pick this up off the bars if it's too sensitive on the bars. And it can pick it up and protect the bars of its mouth. With this one, it can pick it up, but also not entirely. It can pick it up and get a little relief, but still these parts right here are going to touch the bars of the mouth. It's a very nice little bit. So if I I've been able to go directly from the snaffle into this right here and get some really good results on a young horse. And that takes me, you know, a little while. So if I've got a horse that is, I had a really good horse a couple years ago, really nice horse, and had a lot of cow instinct, and that instinct would take over. And right when I needed him to make, when I was maybe roping, going into that corner a little bit, and he was getting a little strong, and I needed him to rate back a little bit on this bit right here, he was able to pick that up and just basically take off on me and do what he wanted. And it wasn't because he was maliciously doing it or anything. It was his instinct was taking over, just like the dogs do. And you call your dog off, but that cow instinct's in the dog, and he just takes off. So I switched to this bit right here. I believe it's called a Sweetwater. Instantly has a chain on it. But that bit right there, the horse cannot pick up and protect. The tongue goes up all the way, but he still has to face the music. And again, that's not to yank, pull harder, hurt the horse in any way. It's just like I told you the chain was for. It is to regain some sensitivity. So that's a very nice bit to have. That's that bit, the Sweetwater in a nutshell, and it's same thing. I really like the loose cheek, or at least some of them will swivel around, some of them are just loose. I really like the loose cheek. I would use a solid cheek if I was getting along with that. Here's another bit. I don't use it that often. It's a broken mouth, what would you call it? Broken mouth leverage bit, much like a Tom Thumb, only this one has a 3-piece, and it's harder to get. Well, so like if a 2-piece, that right there, it just collapses and closes, and really that's why you should only be using one rein at a time. And it can really make a horse feel claustrophobic, and maybe they just need to deal with that. But if not, if you want to go a different route, this one right here, it doesn't collapse as much, and it's a heavy bit. It's got a whole lot of action before this chin strap comes into play. There's a whole lot happens before that. I don't use that much. I'm not a big fan of broken mouth bits, but I think just about every bit out there could have its place, because if it's lost its sensitivity, you need to try a different area. So there's a lot of big, huge gag bits, some bits that look very barbaric. Don't misjudge them. Don't write them off right away. I mean, yes, if you have some pretty judicial hands, any bit could be barbaric. But if you've lost sensitivity, you need to switch something up. So having quite a few bits can really help with that. And so the way I have used all of these bits, it's going to be the same way, and that's with my reins crossed. I cheat quite a bit, and this is just kind of the whole purpose of this video, and this is all basically you need to see. Imagine driving your pickup. So this would be your steering wheel, right? You're going to have to go around the corner like this. So basically I'm just laying that steering wheel flat, going around the corner like this, so that I can tip that horse's head. Yeah, eventually, I'm a colt man though, right? I ride colts. So this is eventually where someday on a set of split reins where I'd like to be. We're going like this, and that horse is looking right and going right. Not, you'll see a lot of this. You drag the horse around, the horse looks right and goes left. And so this is a way to cheat. I can tip that in like this, and even if I really want to get a little bit dramatic about it, I'll ride with this tail right here. And what I can do is slide that, take a lot of slack out of that, tip that horse. But I'm also neck reining with this right here. But a neck rein is a signal. Here's the cue to reinforce the signal. So on that same token, to straighten back out or to go back right, I can slide here a whole lot of slack there, pick up on that rein, and I'm cueing or signaling with the outside rein, cueing with the inside rein. I have had some people ask me that, and it seems it's hard for me to explain sometimes what's in here. So a little bit of visual aid is to help me out, and I don't want to use this, but if I have a rope in there too, that's quite a handful, but I can still do that, and I can reach up. Even if I have a loop, this is broken. Even if I have a loop, just simply a loop here. Broken Reata. I'm not a Reata man. I'm not opposed to them, but I'm just not a Reata man. So if I had a loop here, I could reach up here or reach here and get my horse back on track. It isn't rocket science. I use split reins quite a bit. I'm not opposed to the different type of rein, but if you had a rope and rein, it'd be the same type of deal. So I reach down here, see all the slack in that? I just pulled the slack out of the right rein, dropped it. I can do the same here. Reach down, pick up on the inside, whichever way I want to go. So that's kind of a quick overall on my 3-4 go-to bits here. And I have a whole wall full of bits, but I heard a thing on that one time, and I collect bits. It's kind of a habit, a hobby. Some I just keep, and then I get rid of them because I don't like the feel of them, and then others I keep because I really really got along with them. I have some $500 bits, and I have some $10 bits, and I use both. Sometimes the $10 bits way more often than the $500 bits, but I was listening to a conversation between two guys on an internet video, and a guy was talking about a bit he just got, and so another guy commented and said, well, boy, that thing is really used. That must have been that guy's favorite bit. And then the other guy said either that or it was his only bit. So learn to use these bits. One of the best horsemen I ever knew had a snaffle bit. Well, he was a colt man. I worked with him a lot, and sometimes I got my whole bit collection. You know, it's weigh 50 pounds putting them all on my arm, and that's just small compared to some of the guys that I know. But a bit. There's one bit, and I stole this from somebody else. What is his name? Pat Hooks. There's one bit that works on every horse, he would say, and that's a bit of knowledge. So all these bits I showed you and all the other bits that I got don't really mean much without the knowledge that it takes to use them or not to use them. So I hope this helps somebody, and thanks for watching.